everyone has such a unique person in who they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like the world we live in, specifically now with like social media and stuff, it's so easy to like dull and mute. Like leaving all the shit at the door and just being like, for this 45 minutes, like we're gonna have a great time and it's gonna be positive and so much fun.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Life in Bold. I'm so excited to share this episode with you where I interviewed Nicole Pascaretta, who is just a wonderful improviser, actor, singer, and she just brings me a lot of joy as a friend. She's a very kind heart. She is a very kind soul. And I was just really, it was a pleasure to get to interview her. We laughed a ton. We talked all about like high school and who we were in high school. And we talked about like the arc of like being a kid and being who you are and not being afraid of judgment. And then kind of growing up and being in junior high and high school and like finding that place where you're just like worried about what people think. And then breaking out as an adult and finding performance and finding a way to love yourself and celebrate who you are. And it was just a really beautiful conversation. So I think without further ado, let's bring Nicole to the Life in Bold stage. Please welcome to the Life in Bold stage, Nicole Pascaretta. And you grew up in Detroit?
Metro Detroit.
Metro
but yes,
Detroit. What does that
Rochester
mean?
specifically.
Yeah.
So it's like 20 minutes away from Detroit, but it's not Detroit proper.
I see. But it's different than suburban Detroit. Is that... What's the difference? Metro versus suburban?
Oh, that's a good question. I definitely lived in suburbia. It was like a suburb.
Yeah.
It was a
because I grew up outside of San Francisco, but I don't know what I call it. I guess I just call it like outside of San Francisco.
That's funny. Like literally everyone, like we specifically, like people from Michiganders say like Metro Detroit because you can't say Detroit unless you did live directly in Detroit. Right. But that's what people know.
But in my opinion, Metro sounds like city to me.
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh my God, that's a good question.
You know
but I
mean?
lived very much in a suburb.
In the suburbs.
In a sub with a cul-de-sac.
And what were you like in high school? I bet we would have been friends.
Oh my God, we would have been friends. I feel like in high school I like found my two BFFs.
Yeah.
Shout out Carly McGrath and Stephanie Hill.
Yeah.
And I feel like I moved in 5th grade and like I was trying to be cool for like so long and fit in and like I was wearing Abercrombie when I didn't want to wear Abercrombie. But I wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was not myself for like many years. Yeah. Just trying to like stay afloat and be cool and popular. Yeah. And then I still wasn't somehow, but I was in the group.
Yeah.
And when I met Carly and Stephanie, it was like game over. Like I'm weird. I'm myself.
Yourself.
I'm wearing vintage clothing. Like my prom dress, people were like, is that Rose Dawson's dress from the Titanic?
Oh
like I wore weird shit. Yeah. I was like on the announcements, like kicking up my legs. Like they never let me on student council, but I found my way.
Why not?
I don't know.
You were too weird.
Probably. Yeah, it was so weird.
Yeah. No, I feel like in high school I had a similar arc where like 5th grade, I'm sure I was like myself in elementary school and like I definitely had fun. I had some friends, but I remember I have this specific memory in 6th or 7th grade when I got invited to a birthday party, and it was like my friend's birthday party, and she invited me, and I like got an invitation, and my mom like picked me up somewhere, or like I saw her, and I was like, Mom, I got invited to a birthday party, and she was like, oh great, like she was very like happy and supportive. And like I remember in 5th grade my mom got me I had 3 siblings, but she like specifically got me a dog because my therapist suggested it. And like that I think that I did struggle with friends, like having connections with people around like 5th and 6th grade. Yeah. And then by high school I think I just kind of I clocked like, here's what it takes. Like, I'm going to get involved in something. I'm going to have a thing. I'm going to meet people. And, like, I think I just started to, like, become more and more myself. And then high school rocked for me.
Yes! Literally same.
Yeah.
It was, like, survival. Like, and then it's like, oh, I can be my authentic, bold self. Yeah. Will do. And then it becomes so much better.
I also think one thing about high school and junior high that's so interesting is that in my life, I've gone from this mindset of like, there's me and then there's everybody else. And now I think everybody's different. Like every single person is different, and there's no one person who is an outcast, where everybody else is normal. And I think that as a kid, we're kind of taught like everybody else is normal and I'm weird.
Yes.
But that's not really the case. Like once you start to learn about who you are and like you make other friends, like you realize like people are all different with different interests, especially like growing up gay and closeted. Like I feel like as a guy, I would always be like, oh, all guys like sports and I don't. So I'm weird. But as an adult, I've learned there are so many guys who don't care about sports.
Yes.
They do improv. You know what I mean?
We're like, it's the Super Bowl today? I have an improv show.
Right, I have an improv show. Sorry, I can't make it. Sorry, I can't make it, Travis Kelce.
I'll be there for the snacks.
Yeah, the snacks, though.
Yeah, love.
Tell me about your relationship to Super Bowl snacks.
Very strong.
Yeah.
Actually, I this year made guacamole for the first time in my life.
For a Super Bowl party?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it took me all day.
Did you make a lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because it's just like my family is like cracking up. I'm like sending them every step. Like, did I do this right? Is this what it's supposed to look like? They're like, girl.
Yeah.
It's guac.
Okay, so now we're talking about guacamole. We're
Yeah.
talking about being ourselves in high school.
Yes.
Okay, let's go one level deeper.
Oh my God.
Oh, should I make this like a game show?
Sure.
Like when people come on to Life in Bold, it's like a game show where we get deeper and deeper and bolder and bolder. Okay.
Love.
Ding ding. Level 2. Like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Oh,
but like
loved that
the
show.
bolder you can get, the more likely you are to win $1 million.
And you are bold.
Yes.
That was Regis.
Yes, that was good Regis. So when you think about being bold, you think about,
Yes.
you know, I don't know, there's other words like authentic, courageous, like what does come to mind for you when you're thinking about like just your own relationship to boldness or your definition of boldness?
Well, I'm so glad that this question came up right now because I feel like it's so exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
It's like everyone has such a unique person in who they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like the world we live in, specifically now with like social media and stuff, it's so easy to like dull and mute the boldness.
Yeah.
And like, so that's something I struggle with. I'm like, I just want to delete social media because I feel like it takes away my creativity and like my brain.
Yeah.
But I feel like throughout my life, I have felt like people, whether it has been in performing or in my everyday life and how I act, like people have tried to, in the words of Miley Cyrus, cage me, or I can't be tamed. But I meant to say I felt caged. Like I would be like, you, and it was, difficult.
Yeah.
Like just telling me I'm too big, telling me I'm too much. Like literally people have told me that, and also like in the performance setting has told me that so many times.
Yeah.
So like after a while, it hits you and it makes, you know, and I've had times in life where I feel like, how do I even get to that person anymore?
Yeah.
And then I've had times where I'm like, oh, I'm almost full bold Nicole.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like right now I'm in a good spot.
Yeah. No, I think so.
Yeah.
No.
I always have, like, I can't help but be myself. But like, there's just been times where it's like people have like, not to focus on the negative with this question, but hit it out of me. And I'm like, wait.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm so bold. What are you talking about?
But I'm so bold. Stop.
I do think I think I'm starting to come to my own little, not that it's that unique, but like my own little understanding of like, as kids, we are ourselves.
Yes.
And we don't have as many fears about fitting in or being cool or whatever. And then something happens like when you're like 10, you know, and you're like, oh shit, like I need to survive and I need to be able to fit in and not really be that different. And I need to, and it's not if you're gay or whatever. Like, I just feel like I used to think, oh, this is true for gay people. Now I think it's true for everybody. In 6th grade, you're like, oh, I can't be myself. What are you talking about? Like, if I'm myself, I'm too different and nobody will respect me or like me or invite me to their birthday party. And then, I don't know. So I feel like some people like around high school, they're like getting glimmers And they're like, wait a second, I think I can be a little bit more myself.
Yes.
And then like something happens in like, I don't know, it's like 10, 15, and 20 or so. It's like a 10-year arc of like, wait a second, like I am amazing and I love music and I love colors and I love doing this stuff. And then you can kind of come out of it. And not that that's the exact timeline for everybody.
Yeah.
But I feel like the more I have conversations with people about being bold, that's the story. It's like, I was like this and then I felt like I had to change. And then I realized, no, I didn't.
Yes. Those glimmers of like feeling that authentic self is like so important to clock for yourself and also be like, work towards that because again it comes in waves. I feel like sometimes there can be like there's a right and wrong. Like I think I struggle with that, like there's a right and wrong way to be, especially like, with performing, like this is the path, this is what I should be focusing on, but it's like that gets difficult too. It's like, what's authentic for myself, what should I do, like this works for this person, this works for this person. It just gets confusing, but it's like get back to self.
You have to get back to yourself.
But it's hard.
And it's funny, I mean, I would be curious to know about your like high school or your junior high. Did you feel like the people who were the most popular were authentic or were not authentic? Not that you have to call anybody out. I know.
I'm still friends with you on Facebook.
But like I don't know, I kind of I'll go first. Like I felt like the people that I respected the most. I don't really think my school, this is going to sound like I was really popular because this is what popular people say, but there wasn't really like one group of popular people in my high school. There were really cool people, but some of the most popular people were like the smart people in the AP classes. Like,
that's awesome.
And I was friends with all of them because I was very popular. But also like, I really felt like there wasn't like one group of popular people, but I do feel like in my high school, the people who were rewarded and truly like revered as like, wow, we really like these people, they were more authentic. Like they were breaking from the mold.
That's great.
Even though I felt like I had to hide parts of who I was, I still was dressing up for Spirit Days, and I was the student body president, and like I was still myself. I really feel that I was still myself, and it's hilarious that I thought I was passing as straight, but like it's just kind of a funny thing because I did feel that individuality was what would get me ahead. I just felt fear that if that individuality like was me being gay, that I would be bullied or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so glad that, although, you couldn't be your full self, which isn't good. Yeah. You were still, you had those glimmers of like, yourself, like, I'm going to dress up for Spirit Day. I'm not going to like mute myself.
And I was, I'll tell you, I was the king of Spirit Days.
Actually, me too.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I'd go full out.
Yeah.
And again, didn't give a
did you have a favorite Spirit Day in high school? Like a favorite costume or dress up that you did? I'll tell mine before.
Yes,
my all-time
dust
favorite.
Off the brain.
My all-time favorite Spirit Day was actually one where it was like the freshmen and sophomores dressed up as like futuristic, and the juniors and seniors dressed up like cavemen. And it was really funny because we put on the Spirit Day, and I was helping put it on, and I was kind of like in the leadership class that was like putting on this Spirit Day, and we put up some flyers, and it was just like a random Spirit Day, and but there were definitely flyers. Like that's important to know for this story. There were definitely flyers. And I showed up, and I was a sophomore, and I showed up in full alien, like I had foil everywhere. I made a little telecommunicator on my wrist with foil, and I could like open it up like Buzz Lightyear. And I walked into my class. I actually put foil all over a helmet, and I like put antennas on it and stuff. I walked into my class. Nobody's dressed up. And someone's like, what are you wearing? And I was like, it's Futuristic Day. What are you talking about? And they're like, I don't think it is. Like, I think it's like...
You got the wrong day.
No, I did not. They did. Yeah. And I was like, no, there were flyers. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is futuristic day. And everybody was like, you should nobody else is dressed up, Ben. Like, you should take that off. And I didn't. I stood by it. And I said, I'm going to keep wearing this because you know what, motherfucker? There were flyers.
That's right.
And I wore it all day. And I kept telling everybody, it's futuristic day or whatever.
I love it.
Yeah,
you owned it.
I stuck to
and
my
you
guns.
had fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I never would miss a day.
Mm-mm.
I remember I put like a Coke bottle in my hair to have like it kind of be like a Cindy Lou Who
Yeah.
hair situation.
Where did people find out about that? Was that an internet thing?
I think everyone did that.
People did that at my school too, and I was like, wow, that is so creative. And it is creative. But I was just realizing, like, in this moment, I'm like, was that in a magazine or like on Disney Channel or what?
It must have been. I don't know how we knew to do that.
How did trends get around back then? Like, everybody has the same lingo from that time.
Wait, that's really weird.
You know what I mean? Like, we all have the same memories of like things happening.
And we weren't on social media or anything.
No.
I wonder if it was like the TV shows we were watching, like Disney Channel.
I know, but were they doing that on the Disney Channel to look like Cindy Lou Who?
Okay, brain break.
Yeah.
If you want to put, like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how things got around.
That's
like,
so
and just like all the
weird.
rumors and like, you know,
how did
in
we
like
get the rumor mill?
2003, you know, just like what the hell? Okay, so what was your favorite Spirit Day?
So I don't know what the day was, but I wore like a Disney costume I had when I was little, and I fit it on me.
Yeah.
And like was fully wearing it the whole day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But you don't know, it was just kind of some kind of like Disney day or like some kind
I
of
don't
like
know what the
little
day
girl
was.
day or something.
God, it probably.
Yeah.
Who knows? I was just like, anything to wear something random. Let's go.
I remember one day it was like movie day, so you could like dress up as something from a movie. And I dressed up as a red box machine. And you know how you could get a box and
the creativity.
Yeah. And I put all of my old like VHS movies. I hot glued them
Stop.
on, and so I was a red box machine.
Oh my God, that's
on movie day, and I was so good. And I remember we had one time during the holidays we had a like holiday spirit week kind of thing, and one day it was holiday hat day. And so I got a helmet was like a key part of my costumes. And I had a helmet. And
really made it.
I had a helmet and I put a candy bowl over it. And then I got a box like as big as the candy bowl. And then I wrapped the box like a present. And so my hat was like a huge present.
Whoa. You're a gift, Ben.
I was
You're
gift. And I still am a gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is different. I went to an Epcot party.
Oh, wow.
And everyone like dressed up as like the different stations.
Yeah.
So this is like a costume I'm proud of.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Minnie Mouse topiary.
Oh, what
so
is
I
that?
like, that's like a shrub that like, at Epcot they literally like,
yes.
mold and shape.
Yeah.
Like this. They go,
yeah.
and they make a Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
So I literally had fake plant leaves on me. I'll send you a pic.
Yeah.
And Minnie Mouse
That's
ears.
so funny.
It was
That's
so
a
good.
hit.
And I had like camouflage on.
Yeah.
That
sounds like a hit.
Yeah, I'll help to.
Do you ever dress up now for things? I guess improv.
Yeah. If it calls for it, I love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there was something that happened in my adulthood where I realized I think what it is all my costumes are too like unconventional for Halloween, you know? Like people go out on Halloween as like, you know, dressed in like regular clothes, but like they're a character.
I'm a mouse.
I realized like I can't dress as a red box machine on
yes,
the subway.
You can.
It's not convenient, like
That's
to get
true.
through the subway turnstiles in a box. Like there was something about it where I just realized, like with Halloween, and I still feel this way a little bit. Like when I'm wearing a costume, I go around looking for compliments. Like I'm always like, oh my God, do you see my costume? And I just realized as an adult, like that's just like, I don't know. I feel like I try to be the best costume. But there's too many costumes out there to be the best. But
like you have years and years to show for it. Like there's I feel that way too. Like I go all out. Again, I love a theme.
Yeah.
I will always dress in theme. If it's the Tonys, I'm either
Tony.
dressing as a musical, a
Yeah.
Tony, or as if I'm going.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
if there's a party of some sort, I am dressing in that
Yeah.
theme. And I'll apologize if I can't. I'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm not in theme. And no one asked me to be in theme, and no one else is in theme.
Right.
Like, I had to
I know.
do this.
You're all dressed up for the painting.
Yeah, so it's an everyday life.
Yeah, it's, costumes are not a choice. It's something you do every day.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Did you do like theater and stuff in high school?
So
This is like the high school episode.
yes. Oh my God, that's good to unpack. Good to
Yeah.
unpack. Funny enough, I did not.
Okay.
But I did do like summer music theater as a kid.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to be an actor since I shot out of my mom's canal. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna be an actor.
Yeah, A Star Is Born.
Whatever that means. I was always the one making my family laugh.
Yeah.
Weird as shit, as we discussed.
Yeah.
And but I did cheerleading,
I see.
which very much informs the performer I am today.
Yeah.
As you can see, I do a lot of high kicks. I am, my favorite shows are like athletic shows. Like when
Yeah.
I feel like I like danced really hard or like sweat.
Yeah, right.
Those are my
Physical.
favorite kinds.
Yeah.
I'm realizing as I reflect.
I was friends with all of the cheerleaders. My best friend Kelly was she was the cheer captain.
I was a captain.
Yeah, and I was just like, and my younger sister ended up being she's 2 years younger, and she ended up being on the cheerleading team as well. And so because my sister was on the team, my family would go to all the stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like it was deeper than just my sister. It was like my best friends were all cheerleaders, and they were always like, you should join, you should be like our boy cheerleader, like whatever. And of course I was like, I cannot be a cheerleader, like that
Yeah.
would ruin my whole thing. But I did do gymnastics as a kid, like
Really?
from like before kindergarten to just after third grade. I was like in like competitive like gymnastics.
Oh my God.
And I would do I wasn't that great at it, but I was on the team, so that you're at least some level of good
Gymnastics
to
is
be on the
very
team.
hard, yeah.
And I was practicing like 3 days a week for like 3
Wow.
hours, and like as a kid, and like I think I just got over it, like as I was like, oh my God, this is, because the thing about it is like gymnastics is pretty year round, and there's
it's a
not
lot.
really like a break. So I think by the time I got to third grade, I was like,
You're like,
I don't want to do this like it was a lot.
no, to be at a certain level, it's your
Yeah.
life. Like, I know so many people, including my younger sister, who did it,
Yeah.
like, seriously,
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
And it's intense. It's, yeah.
But I feel like I would have been a good cheerleader.
Absolutely.
I would have been good.
Yes.
I should go back.
It's not too late. We can
I
still,
could be an
we can still
adult
be
cheerleader.
Let's
I
be
don't think I should be
cheerleaders
a
together.
high school cheerleader.
Yeah. I literally miss it. And it was such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And then it like, and like we were competitive. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
every state is different. I don't know what California
It's
was
pretty
like.
competitive, yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Michigan, different types of
Yeah.
competitions in different states. But it was very intense. There was a rivalry with school. It was bring it on. It was bring it on.
Yeah.
Like we would lose by like 0.3 points. We're
Yeah,
like,
you were-
like it was so intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was my life.
So you did cheerleading in high school, and then when did you start doing improv and performing and all that?
So I went to Western Michigan University,
Uh-huh.
and I actually studied film because I was like, oh, I'll put myself in my own films. So I also like noticed
interesting, yeah.
I was like not going for the thing I wanted,
Yeah.
but the thing next to it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was probably like, scary to
Yeah.
fail at the thing you love. And then right when I graduated college, I read Tina Fey's book, and she
Yeah.
talked about improv.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's this? And my dad looked up on Google and found a theater, Go Comedy Improv Theater in
Yeah.
Ferndale, Michigan.
Uh-huh.
And I started taking classes. So like right when I ended college. And then I was
see.
like, this is what I was
This
looking for my
is-
entire
yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Like, this is everything. I'm
What
obsessed.
looking for.
Literally. Yeah. Wait, which one is
I
it?
don't know.
I know that song.
I know.
Do, 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 do,
Yeah. What
do.
I've been looking for.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get it.
High School Musical.
High School Musical.
Oh, we're in the high school thing.
Yeah, right. Is that how it goes? Is that
Yeah, you're right.
do 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 do?
Oh.
What I've been looking for.
Wait, is that High School
No,
Musical?
you're doing also Good Morning Baltimore a little bit. Woke up today.
Feeling the way I
Always do. I will say Good Morning Baltimore is formative for me.
Yeah?
Because that movie came out.
Oh.
When I think I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
Maybe sophomore or something.
Yeah,
And
that sounds right.
I was such a big fan of Zac Efron at the time.
I loved it.
And
I
watched my mom and I went to see Hairspray, and I was like, this is the most amazing thing.
Yes.
And I had not seen the stage production. I had only seen the movie, and then I think we went to see it in like around where I lived on stage, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yes.
And then you know what's funny is that I was like, oh, I like musicals, and I thought all musicals were like Hairspray.
Well,
I was like, I thought they were all like that, and then a new musical was coming out, Les Mis with Anne Hathaway. And I was like, Mom,
similar.
we have to go see.
We have to go.
And I went, and because I was expecting Hairspray, I hated it so much. And I literally like was so confused, and I was like, what is I had no context other than this is going to be another musical like Hairspray.
And especially, I've never seen Les Mis. I always call myself a musical theater late bloomer. I am obsessed with musical theater right now and in my life. I go to Broadway every other minute. It's my favorite thing to do in New York. But I was the same as you. My introduction was the movie musicals, and it also hit me later that I was obsessed with Hairspray, Chicago.
Yeah.
God, there's other ones.
Yeah, there's other ones.
And I was like,
Grease.
I knew every word. Grease. I knew every word. I was like, but I think that was my introduction and only introduction to musical theater.
Yeah.
That I was like, I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah.
And then when I started to do it and then see shows, I was like, I have been changed for good. So that's so interesting. Like the movie musicals introduced me.
I think that's a really interesting point for like people that are, because I noticed like when people are advertising Broadway musicals, especially New York like Broadway musicals, they literally go on like TV shows and like The Tonight Show and The View and everything, and they promote these shows. And like if you're not in New York, like you're just not gonna see them. You might go to see other.
I heard a noise. Bum, bum.
You might go to see other musicals, and definitely different. They're touring, or they're just like San Francisco had their own, like Broadway productions. And stuff.
I'm sure.
But so many of the like you want to see the cast in New York and stuff, and so even like that's why it's so important that the movie musicals get it right or like do a good job, because people who are 15 who even if they have it in their city, it's expensive, and their family might not get it or whatever, and they have to like go see it as a $17 movie with their friends.
Yes.
Like I think it's really interesting to think about how that really is an introduction for people.
And it hit me recently.
Theater. Yeah.
Like I was like, how deeply obsessed I was with those films.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I was like, how did I not listen to music? Just my family, like we weren't listening to musical theater growing up. Like it's just So then I was like, how am I so obsessed now? But I'm like, every time I got any sort of intro to it, I was obsessed.
I know. What about other forms like stand up or musical comedy?
Yeah.
Were you watching those in like high school or college or?
Whose line is it anyway? We got Improv.
Yeah.
My dad's a big fan. Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Dad's a big fan also.
Yeah.
But I would always love and watch. Other comedy.
What about like on YouTube? Were you watching like Bo Burnham?
No, not Bo Burnham.
Oh, Bo Burnham was like my main man.
Really?
I was watching Bo Burnham like no other. Like I had I had downloaded his music on iTunes, and he had this song, My Whole Family Thinks I'm Gay. Have you heard it? Mm-mm. It's basically the funniest song ever.
Well, I'm missing out.
And I was 16 or something, 16, 17, and he has this song, and it's about how his whole family thinks he's gay. And then the comedy of it is like he kind of gives into it a little bit, and he's like, he has, my favorite lyric is like, I think it's like, my whole family thinks I'm gay. What is it? He goes, maybe it's because the way that I talk or walk makes them think I like boys. And it's just like funny like comedy music, and like it was really my intro to like someone my age doing musical comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and I really listened to it a lot.
Yeah.
And I would tell, and it's funny because I was in the closet and like, but I was still openly like showing it to my friends and being like, look at this funny song. Everybody thinks he's gay. Isn't that funny?
Is that funny?
Isn't that funny, right? And he's not, so that's funny, right? But like he, at one point in the song, he goes, "Hey God, if I'm gay, strike me down." And then he starts playing again. And he goes, "Oh," and he's like coughing, like God's striking him down because he's gay. And like it was just really funny. And obviously, Bo Burnham has come so far, but he would just be on YouTube, just playing these songs, like at the lowest quality production. Like it would just be a camera, his electronic keyboard, no microphones, anything. It would just be like him, like in his room, like in Boston, I think. And he would just be playing, and I was so inspired. I was like so inspired.
That's
and I had my own
amazing.
YouTube show where I would make similar videos, but I would produce the songs like on GarageBand and then make music videos. Because I wasn't as talented as at just playing it, you know?
Yeah.
But I would make funny songs and like put them on the internet, and like I never found quite the same success as Bo Burnham, but
Yeah.
I did love it. So were you watching YouTube and like finding creators on YouTube?
I was. I feel like the things that are coming to my mind are so random right now.
Probably,
But
yeah.
it's like, oh my God, shoes.
That-
Let's get some shoes.
That is
Those
the
shoes
best.
are mine, batch.
Yeah.
Oh, I was obsessed with that. Like,
Let's get some shoes.
I feel like all like
Yeah.
the first, like,
That's early too.
yeah, there were a lot of songs I feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like milk and cereal,
Yeah.
cereal and milk,
Oh my God, I haven't heard that in
stereo,
years.
stereo. Yeah, like I feel like all those like
Yeah.
YouTube things. But I definitely was, like you said, like, or like I said when I was young, I even in high school again, like
Yeah.
as a loser, was like making videos that are like full like musical productions, but like
Yeah.
in my friend's basement,
Yes.
and like they're actual written songs, but they were
Yeah.
like very funny, and
Do you
I
still
don't
have
know.
access to them?
I hope
Where would
my
they
friend Laura Ritchie would have
Yeah.
it, but I think I like got a copy from her.
Yeah.
But it was just like such a glimpse into like, oh, like, don't you love when you see
Yeah.
things of yourself when you were younger and you're like, oh, that's who I am.
Exactly who I am now. You know what's
It's
funny?
so like, it's such a cool like,
My friend,
confirming thing.
My friend Elena is a dear friend of mine, and she lives in California, where I grew up. And I almost said where I was born. Where I grew
Well,
up. It was
were
where I
you?
was born, yeah.
Okay.
But it's so much more than just where I was born.
so much more happened.
But she found in her car a CD, and it had like my handwriting on it, and she put it in. I'm saying, in the last 12 months, she put like a CD in, and it's me, and it's a Christmas album that I gave out to my friends.
I'm freaking out. I did the same thing. Keep going.
And it's basically like I just basically downloaded the karaoke versions of songs, sang over it in GarageBand, and then put it on a CD and gave it to all my friends.
That's awesome.
And she found it, and
That's so cool.
And she put it. It was like skipping and stuff, but like it was just in her CD collection, and she sent it to me, and I was like, "That's absolutely hilarious," because I really forgot that I did a Christmas album, and every year I'm like, I should do a Christmas album. I did it when I was 16.
It's hard to save, like, because the formats and the technology
Yeah.
changes. It's like, how do you save this stuff?
Yeah, and I think what was
You do
funny
your
about
best.
it was like I chose probably funny songs, you know, like Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, I think is just the funniest Christmas song. And I probably sang something like that, and like probably the comedy of the album was that I was singing ridiculously, probably. Like I wasn't like writing that's the thing, is I never really like today it'll be 1 a.m. and I'll get up and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write a Christmas song, and then I get my guitar out, I sing it, whatever.
Aw.
Back then I was doing comedy music, but I wasn't writing it the same way, and I wasn't like thinking of it in terms of live performance. So
Oh, yeah.
one of my favorite songs, I was learning about video editing, and I learned about green screen. So on Black Friday in 2008 or 9, I went to Joann's Fabrics. Do you know that place?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I bought a huge thing of green felt, like, and I brought it home, and I put it kind of like a curtain on my wall so I could like retract it and like bring it back.
Brilliant.
And I had a green screen, and I went to like Ace Hardware, and I got like fire hazard ass lights, and I like put them on my thing so I could have like stage lights and stuff in my little bedroom. And I remember I had a green screen, and so the first thing I did with my green screen was I wrote a song called "With My Green Screen I Can Be Anything."
Is this because you had a crush on some? Did you post?
I did post that.
Okay, sorry, not to interrupt, but I was like, I saw this.
I did post it on.
That was hilarious.
On TikTok, because there's that trend where it says, "Oh, remember this guy said he only likes." I said there was a girl that said she only dates guys with green screens. So I went, that was totally a lie.
Oh, but it was so funny, and just to see that you did that. But
and
continue.
So I made this song called "With My Green Screen I Can Be
so
Anything."
Cute.
And it's just like, it really is a comedy song, but I wasn't thinking as much in terms of like jokes and punchlines and like stuff. It was more just like, with my green screen, I can be anything that I want to be. And it was really inspiring,
really
I think.
Cute. No, because you're creating from the heart. You're not thinking about like the metric partameter, the partameter, the verses, the choruses. You were literally writing from the heart.
I love thinking about
really,
like the
fact
message. That I was doing that, and like I wasn't thinking about it in terms of a career beyond like YouTube success or just kind of like being a Disney Channel star. You know?
Oh yeah, I wanted to be that. And I was like, hurry up, people. I'm about to just be a babysitter at this point.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
And now I'm like, Mom.
This episode of Life in Bold is brought to you by being yourself and not muting who you are. Hey, if you're in junior high and you're thinking about muting who you are because you're trying to fit in, I recommend don't do it. Be who you are, say what you feel, because those who matter don't mind and those who mind don't matter. Hey, that's Dr. Seuss if you ever thought about who that would be saying that quote. So I just say be who you are and make sure that anybody who's trying to make you fit in, tell them to get out of the car, okay? And here's Nicole.
This episode of Life in Bold is brought to you by cheerleading. You can be your own cheerleader in your own life. And yes, it is a sport. If you don't think it is, please DM me and we will have a civil debate. But never be afraid to do a high kick at any point, to cheer on your friends, or to just go, yay, at any point in life. There's nothing more exciting in life when you see a natural woo-hoo. It just brings you with so much joy. So don't forget to cheerlead the people you love in your life, yourself, and anyone that you meet that you don't know. It brings on cheer. Except if they're negative, don't waste your cheer on them. Now, back to the show.
That was perfect. I used to think in high school, like, I need to make sure I become a Disney star before I graduate, or else it's over for me. And then in
we had such similar thoughts. I'm serious.
And then in college, I remember I saw The Social Network.
Oh yeah.
With about Facebook, and I literally thought in college, I was like, I need to make a business before I graduate and drop out, or else I'm nothing.
I have to be Mark Zuckerberg.
I have to be Mark Zuckerberg. It's like mark or bust.
No, I feel that.
You know
like when you learn about certain people's stories, we're like, I have to do that. I have to do that to be successful.
So how do you describe yourself now? Like, when you meet a new person and they ask like, what are your hobbies? What do you do? Like, what do you tell people? Like, who are you as a person today?
Yeah, I feel like it is hard to choose one word. Not
one word. But it's like I feel like it's always a combination of your kind of day job and your hobbies and like your interests, and like I feel like some people would be like, well, I have a job and I'm a mother of 3 and I have a nice car.
I'm all those things.
I'm just kidding.
I'm kidding.
But like, what would you, if you were like gonna get up at a icebreaker and like tell 3 fun facts about yourself?
Yeah, no, I would definitely say I'm an actor, comedian, writer. Yeah, all the things. I would say, I think for like a performing standpoint, it's hard to say one of the things, you know.
You're a performer.
And that's part of like the confusion of my life is like, wait, which one do I focus on? I love them all.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as a performer, actor, comedian, sketch comedy, improv, characters. Yeah. Singer, musical theater, musical improv.
You are a good singer too, and dancer.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's something that I'm very attracted to, and your performing is your musical abilities, you know.
Thank
Just like
Means
you're
a
just
lot.
like because I think the first time I saw you sing in with an audience was the Bring Your Own Bob show.
Oh yeah.
And I think because Seann is such a good singer, and I knew that, I didn't realize you're such a good singer too.
Thank
And so
you.
when you had a moment where you sang something, like maybe it was the Grease thing or
Yeah.
something, and you did such an amazing. I was like, what? Who knew?
Aw.
Who knew?
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like I have been right now. I'm taking a lot of classes and
Yeah.
singing lessons and stuff like that. So it's like the biggest compliment you can say is because I've been specifically working on my singing.
Yeah.
But I think that's another reason why a lot of people haven't seen it is because
Yeah.
I've been like working on my backswing, as they
Yeah.
say, like training and taking classes. And then when I do get on stage, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I still got it, or I can perform, or
Yeah.
people are saying good things, so it's working at least.
Yeah.
But I'm taking classes at HB Studio in the
Yes.
West Village.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a fellowship there, and I am loving every second. And I
Oh, that's
have taken
cool.
so many different. I've been taking classes there for about a year now,
Yeah.
and I've taken so many different types of classes. I've taken acting classes, musical theater classes, dance classes,
Yeah.
playwriting. So I've gotten to do like the whole gamut. So I'm like really
Yeah.
like in training mode
Yeah.
right now.
Right.
But I'm loving it. Like I'm such a nerd for it. I'm like,
Yeah. What's something you've learned about singing? Like, what's something that you've learned about singing? That's the question.
oh my god. Well, so many
Like,
technique.
I feel like I have taken a number of singing lessons, and I find that it does really help me
Oh, yeah.
understand like my own energy and like my breath and like my pacing and literally just when to breathe. But
Yeah. Yes.
and the more singing lessons I take, the better.
Yes.
And partially, it's just kind of singing more often helps you become a better singer.
Warming up every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I don't do. But
Well,
I should do.
we should do.
Or we can and will, and
We can
we
and
will
will.
work
And one
towards
day
that.
we will.
We will.
One day we will.
And it can be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it makes such a difference. There's so
Yeah.
many good ones on YouTube, everybody.
I know. The YouTube warm-ups are really fun.
I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's something you've learned about singing, like, or what's something about yourself that you've learned while taking singing lessons? There we go. Ding, ding. One level deeper.
Oh my God, that's actually huge because singing is so vulnerable.
Yeah, it is.
And I think the notes I've gotten a lot is just like being confident in my own instrument and
Yeah.
like my voice and like loving my voice is
Yeah.
like very hard because
Yeah.
I'm so critical. I'm like,
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I would say like, yeah, like again, being
Just,
bold
like,
and authentic with singing.
Yeah.
And not like trying to
Yeah.
emulate someone else or trying to be someone else's voice. That's something I'm like super working on.
my
It's
gosh.
really hard and scary and
I-
makes you cry during class.
I'm not. I think I'm like.
cry.
I might not be totally, but I feel like in a way I'm the opposite of that.
That's
where
great.
I think, of course, these people love hearing me sing, but I don't
beautiful.
necessarily always put in like the effort to learn or like to really get it right sometimes. And I feel like sometimes I feel like myself as kind of like the everyman of singing, where it doesn't really matter if I'm an absolutely amazing singer. What matters is that I'm funny and that I kind of have a good energy while I'm singing. But I do notice that like I want to be able to do runs better. I want to be able to like breathe in the right place. I want to be able to look more fit while I'm singing, you know, so like not running out of breath and like not cracking my voice if I try to do a high note. So it's kind of finding a balance.
I think there's a balance between
Yeah.
us. But I think you have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
First of all.
Thank you. Yeah, I do feel like sometimes people will say that, and I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Because we all, everyone authentically has their own voice, and it is
Yeah.
finding it.
Yeah.
But I will say that something that has come from, like, because I've kind of, like, with my performance, like, road, I've, I just started for specifically musical theater, like doing shows before learning acting technique. And now so even like I started with improv, then I did sketch, then I did musical theater, and then now I'm learning acting technique. So it's kind of backwards to some people. But I will say now that I am learning acting technique and I watch sketch or I do sketch or singing, like for comedy singing, I want to believe the character, even if it's a heightened character. Like, I don't know if it's just because I'm like in the acting world so much, but I'm like, I don't believe you. Nor if it's like too surface level or like, I think with singing too, like working on that technique, it levels everything up, even though the more important thing is, even with musical theater, the more important thing is the acting and and like what you're trying to say and your objective and like your character, like that's always number one over singing. But when you sharpen those tools to do those things,
I know,
it levels it up. And like I actually heard on an interview today with Sarah Sherman from SNL, she was talking about how Ryan Gosling, love her, was like a phenomenal actor, and like on SNL like was asking questions about like his character and was like, so what's his want? But like she said in the interview, she was like, and I go, oh wow, like I see how that work pays off even in sketch comedy,
No, absolutely.
So I'm like, I've seen that.
That's a really good point.
Stepping away from like being more in the acting world right now, not stepping away, but like being immersed in the acting world and then watching comedy shows, like I do notice that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think just everybody has to find their own balance of it, because like some people have a natural confidence, whereas other people have a natural ability to understand the technique. And
there's
I think
a balance.
It's a little bit about, because like for me, I don't really have a problem going on stage and doing whatever I want. Like
that's good.
I'm not really nervous necessarily. Like sometimes I get nervous based on how the people around me are so good. So anytime that's the case, where I'm like, oh my god, these people are so good, but then I find I rise to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Like last Friday, I was nervous a little bit.
It was a huge crowd.
It was a huge crowd, and basically last Friday, I opened with a 15-minute set for the Sounds Funny Looper improv show, which was a huge, amazing, fun thing, because I've seen Seann Cantatore do it, and I also just respect that whole world of improv and and all of that stuff. Like, I mean, the people in those shows are so good. And I remember before I went on stage, I kind of just I was like, this is the moment to bring my best. This isn't like, not in a bad way, but like this isn't a place to fuck around kind of thing. Like, this is the place to really do it, And I remember I felt that when I took improv level 2. And I just had one friend in the audience for the show. But I did improv level 2, and I thought my class was pretty good. And I was like, I really want to come in and be one of the funniest people. Or not funniest, but, just like, whatever, best or whatever.
Focused and on your A game and
really
bring your best self.
Best. Yeah. And I remember I was watching the first group of people go, and I said to myself the same thing, like, bring your best. Like, this is the moment to, like, really take everything you've learned and like really focus and be present and just do it. And I noticed when I give myself that pep talk, I can really rise to the occasion.
Absolutely. And I saw you do it, and you were fantastic. And I was just like beaming, like watching you. You bring so much joy, and like you have so much heart in your songs.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm moved and I'm laughing.
Yeah.
And you're so fun. And like, I love your jokes. Like your jokes kill me. Like so much. You were fantastic.
That set that I did my song "Split My Pizza," and then I did "Rich Parents."
Yes.
And then I call
it
"Sounds
one.
Like My Mom."
A new one.
And that's the song about being 12, and my mom's friends would call the house, and they would think I was my mom because I had such a womanly voice. And that one is quickly becoming my favorite.
I really loved it
because it does have a lot of heart. And I remember when I started getting more serious about writing comedy music, I would try so hard to give it the heart. And I would be like, and I would think of like, when I write a bridge, I have to be like, okay, but now I'm going to get people to feel something. But it just is not when it's so black and white like that, like, oh, this is gonna be funny, and then I'm gonna make you realize that this is about something deeper. I feel like with this song, I got the right balance of like, oh, it's funny that I sound like my mom and everything, but then it kind of goes into like, and now, 20 years later, I got a big manly voice of my own. But I remember that silly little 7th grader who sounded like his mother on the telephone. And I think that's a good little transition. And then it goes, if I could tell that kid one simple thing, I'd sit him down and play him this guitar. And then it says, I'd say, embrace what makes you different, King, because that is what will make you a star. And I just feel like the first few times I've sang that, I literally would cry when I sing that.
Absolutely.
And I still do get emotional when I see it.
real.
And I think that's why people were like, wow, it really has some heart, because my heart is really in it. And it's like, I really wish that back to kind of this theme of like being in junior high and everything. Like, I really wish you could tell kids that age, like, because you say be yourself and you say whatever, but like in reality, like if I could, I'm thinking of a kid in my life right now who like, is probably 10 years old or something, and like she's really funny, and like really she cuts her hair cool ways, and like has cool style and everything, and it would just like kill me to see her try just do anything she can to fit in, and I just imagine like if I could tell that kid, just like, hey, just the key to life, is just really embrace what makes you different and run with it.
Yes.
Like, don't you wish you could I wish I could tell myself that, but like I wish that could be a message to little kids.
Absolutely.
Who just they're just like you just like you said in the beginning, like muting yourself. Don't mute yourself.
Yeah, it literally like it makes me sad like to think of myself in like those years like being quiet. Like I mean maybe sometimes I can be quiet, but like I would like not talk, and like I was just trying to like look cool, and like and knowing people in my life right now too that I'm like, and you can't, and I think that's why music is so powerful, because they can hear it through your songs. But like sometimes like telling them like you said, be yourself. It's like it is hard, and like we have like obviously different life experience to like understand. But I think music is such a powerful, and comedy is like a way to actually like be able to digest that kind of stuff, especially at those tender ages.
I know. So what do you feel like is your message? Like when people are watching your comedy, like what do you want people to know or feel or be inspired to do?
My message when I perform is I always want people to feel like happy, and I want them to enjoy themselves. And I think like the happiness part for me, like when I like leaving all the shit at the door and just being like, for this 45 minutes, like we're gonna have a great time, and it's gonna be positive and so much fun. And like I remember when I first did like a musical, I was like watching on the sidelines and like watching people like smile and laugh, which now I know that you shouldn't do, because if you can see them, they can see you. Right. But I was like, but I like made me like emotional to see people laugh and like be happy. And I think like that is my goal, is like life is difficult, and like even in my conversations and when I'm with people, I just want to make people happy, lift up their spirits, lift up their energy, and and like I don't know, just make people laugh, I guess. I don't know.
Spread the happy. Spread the happy. Because you're right, like it is, it is, what I've learned is that it is enough to just give someone a break from the world and give someone a break from the things they're dealing with. Because I think when I started asking people this question, I was expecting everybody to say, I want people to accept people like me, or I want people to realize that it's okay to do this, or like everybody had like I thought everybody would have kind of this like message, but I even had Jess L. Jean. Do you know Jess L. Jean?
I don't.
She's like really, you'll see the episode. It's out now, but your episode will be out next week. And Jess said, I asked her like, what is your message, and like what do you want people to get from it? And she said like, I just think if I make it about the laughs and I can just get people to laugh, I think the real message that I want to get across, which is that like trans people transitioning is a good thing, and like makes them happier and makes them more successful and like contributing, all those things, that will get across better if I can just be a person and make people laugh. And I think it's similar to what you're saying, is like, it's just kind of like, let's just give people a moment to like have I'll laugh because you know what they say, laughter is the best medicine.
Mary Poppins. I don't know if she says that, but
you know,
she gives those medicine.
Yeah,
I know,
she does give the medicine in a spoon,
and it's so like
and a
aesthetically
spoonful of sugar
pleasing.
helps the medicine go down.
Yes.
Oh, that's another. Yeah. So that's your message. That is a spoonful
Full
of sugar makes the medicine go down.
Yes. Oh my God, we found it. But
We
like,
found it.
it matters to me. I mean, like, I know it matters to everybody, but I'm not like. It matters to me that the audience has a good time. They're taking time away. They're spending money like that. Like, I don't take that for granted. When I see like a full house, I'm like very taken back. I'm like, thank you. Like, this means the world and the support. So I just want to give something back.
I agree. Well, it has been so lovely having you on Life in Bold. How do you feel? Did we do a good job?
I think we did a good job. I had so much fun.
I think people are going to really like this episode.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
You're not just saying it, are you?
I'm not just saying that.
Okay,
no, I would
you
never
wouldn't
just
lie.
say that.
You wouldn't
no.
lie to me.
Where can people find you? How can they support you? Like, what do you want them to do as a result of seeing you on this famous podcast?
Oh my God, can I look at them?
Yeah, look at them.
Hi. You can follow me on Instagram, and it's Nicole.Pascaretta. Should I spell it?
Sure.
Okay. Nicole, Nicole Pascaretta. Nicole.Pascaretta.
Nicole.Pascaretta.
Yep, and I'm on TikTok, Nicole Pascaretta, just the full name. You can follow Bring Your Own Bob.
Shows?
Oh my God, I'm going to have my debut on Jimmy's show.
Yeah. Jimmy Schatz and his box of crayons.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's July. I just forgot.
July 17th? Oh, man, just look.
July 17th.
July 17th.
Wednesday, July 17th.
Wednesday, July 17th.
Oh my God.
At Stonewall?
At Stonewall.
Yes, it's going to be so good.
In the
and
evening.
what are you going to do? What are you going to do for that show?
I'm doing a character.
So good.
So excited to finally be a crayon.
Yeah, I was a crayon a while ago.
Yes, you were.
Yeah,
that's
it was really
amazing.
fun. Yeah.
So I get to join the crayon club.
Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah, and I'm also doing the Detroit Improv Festival.
Which that's really exciting.
Yes.
Are you going with that whole group?
Yes, Gander.
Yeah.
So it's Michiganders in New York, and we all do improv together.
Yeah.
And the troupe is called Gander, and we're performing at the Detroit Improv Festival.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you've been such a wonderful guest.
Oh my God.
And you can follow Life in Bold Pod if you're looking to get to know the podcast a little bit more. We have new episodes currently every Wednesday, which is, I love doing episodes every Wednesday.
I love that.
And then you can follow me, Ben Hawes, your fantastic and sexually hot, sexually attractive host,
Yes.
Ben Hawes, at Laugh with Ben on Instagram, also on TikTok, also on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube now, but you can subscribe to the podcast here on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify, you can subscribe on Spotify, or if you're listening on Apple, which I found out is the biggest slice of the pie.
Whoa.
Which I'm surprised by, but it is true.
That's shocking.
Then you can definitely add Life in Bold to your list of podcasts that you listen to. We just want to say we love having you here. Do you want to end with anything?
I just
to the
wanted
audience?
to say that, speaking of hot,
yeah,
I'm single, so if you know my mom said never waste the opportunity to talk on a mic.
Right.
So I am single. DM me.
Yeah, DM.
Anyway.
And I am also single. DM me. And maybe we can go on a double date, the two of us, and maybe if you have like a couple of friends who want to have a good conversation, we can go out to Chili's or something.
You could be a part of this combo.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
And with that, we hope you have a great day,
yes,
an even better week, and do not forget to
live your life in bold.
Bye.
Bye.